Good morning everybody, thanks for joining me again. As you can see, I've come back down to the River Dart. A couple of weeks ago I tried to walk down to Luckey Tor across the moor through the boulder field, and if you watch the video you'll know that was quite a difficult route. Well, one of my followers who watched the video decided to send me a map. Thank you very much, Heather. So I now have a route to Luckey Tor along the river, showing me where all the difficult parts are. She composes some lovely music which really complements the Dartmoor landscape. Well worth a look. So I'll leave a link in the description below. So, I've not come out early this morning, only 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to take a walk along the river. I've got all day, although it is very, very warm. And let's see what we can find, shall we? Well, as you can see, this mandarin duck and her brood were just posing for me. But I was more interested in taking the film, so I took these captures from the video. So luckily at the 1/50th of a second, she was still enough to get these two captures. This one I really like. Both her and the young one are looking up at the sky, both at the same time, keeping a watchful eye. So as I say, 1/50th of a second, it was on auto ISO, and I think I was at f11. So I've reached the flat wooded section of the walk. Been here before in the autumn. Some lovely colours here, especially when the bracken starts to die back. So let's take a walk through, see if there's any songbirds we can take photographs of. And then it'll be back down to the river and one of the more difficult sections. Well, this is a really nice little spot to film, and not too many insects about today, although I did bring this along with me. Got this from Hong Kong last time we were there. I think it's meant to say bug off, but it just says off. But it seems to be working. I can hear lots of birds in this small piece of woodland, so I'm just going to stand here with the camera ready and let them come to me rather than chase around. Okay, I've had to pack the camera away because I've just come to one of the trickier sections. Of course, as soon as I put the camera away, I see a tree creeper and a nuthatch. Never mind, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to see if I can catch them on the way back. It's okay. Down to the river and apparently over some slabs near the river. Well, here it is, Luckey Tor. That just inspired me to go that little bit further. It was a little difficult going over all those tree roots. I think if that was on a Scottish mountain somewhere, they'd call it a bad step. And I think in winter, when the water's high, that might be impassable, the route I came. Anyway, I now know I've got an easier route back to the car. So it's still early, so I'm going to take a walk a bit further along the river and see how far I can get. Well, as you can see, made it to this lovely waterfall. So I've set myself up with a variable ND filter on and a polarizer. Got my 16 to 55mm Sony lens on. Just a matter of finding a nice composition and then a shutter speed that will slow the water down and blur it just to make a nice photograph. I'm starting with an exposure shutter speed of 1 second. Let's see how we get on. Well, I really enjoy waterfall photography, and as you can see, the 1 second gives you that impression of movement in the water. I had the aperture at f/18 because I wanted to get the whole shot in focus in just one capture. ISO 50, and it was quite dark, but really pleased with this photograph. I just moved a little bit closer to the waterfall, and what I found is I think that half a second works best. There goes a dipper flying by. So I'm going to give this a few more different exposures. Just experiment and see what I get. Well, although I did try different shutter speeds, the half a second worked best. What it really does is give that almost explosive look to the water as it's coming over the falls. This 5x4 crop worked really well, and you can see more of the trees in this one. And in post-processing I did a little bit of dodging and burning just to put a few highlights in there. And this is the same photograph, just cropped to a wider angle. I've cut some of the trees out, but it really focuses your eye in on that cascading water. my favourite photo of the day. And this was a really lucky one, just looking down at my feet. This comma butterfly, I think this is a female, just landed on the rock. And the contrast between the lovely orange-yellow colours and that grey background was just great. So I took this capture from the video. Well, I think that's enough from the waterfall. Sun keeps coming in and out, very bright. A lot of reflection, so I think I'm going to make my way back through the woodland again and see if we can catch up with those birds. Well, I've made it back to the woodland. Very bright though, but I am surrounded by birds. You can see nuthatches, tree creepers, lots of blue tits I think, making all this noise. So I'm trying to get some images of them. I'm going to have to concentrate and be very quick. Well, I've moved along just a bit and I'm still trying to get these shots. Got the camera set up at 1/1000th of a second auto ISO and it's in fast burst. The aperture's as open as I can get it. When zoomed all the way in, it's at f6.3. So just a matter of biding my time, letting the birds get used to me being here and seeing what I can find. Well, trying to combine both landscape photography and wildlife on the same trip, I was going to be in trouble, wasn't I? And I didn't manage to capture many photos of the birds. However, I did manage to find this coal tit who was feeding on the end of this branch, and at ISO 1000 it was a little grainy, and just to prove there were nuthatches around, I managed this one, but as you can see the leaves were obscuring the bird in the distance. So next time when I come out, I'm going to spend a little bit more time, camouflage myself and concentrate just on some wildlife. Just as in one of my previous videos, the beautiful demoiselles are out, and I managed to get this capture of this one just sitting on the fern. They were dancing around in the sky, but only managed to capture them when they were resting. Well, a bit warm, but what a lovely walk, all the way to Luckey Tor and beyond. Thanks Heather for the map, much appreciated. That gave me that little push just to make me go that little further. Anyway, I don't think I've got many photographs today, but never mind. Really enjoyed the walk. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give me a like. It costs nothing, and I'll see you all again next week. But for now, cheerio.